Howdy, folks. Steven here, Follow Me Dark. Here to raise a glass on July 3rd, 2021. Just got back from a long day at the recording studio, starting to lay down these three new tracks. Went super good. Jim killed it today. He's bringing a lot of precision and intensity that it's just a new level. And it sounded really great. We're working with Bob again, who did our album. For those of you who don't know, we did a full album which came out in December. It's over an hour, and in our opinion, there's not a bad song on there. We really put a lot into each track. Wanted to make something that'll really stand up to repeated listens. If you guys haven't heard it yet, please pull it up. It's on YouTube, it's on Spotify, Bandcamp, SoundCloud. There'll be some links below, assuming this is posted at some point. But yeah, just wanted to kind of collect myself a little bit. I'm literally sweaty from walking home from the band house, and just kind of reflecting on where the band is right now. We've been together over 2 years. Elliot and I started playing in summer of 2018. And Sean came into the fold that winter, and then we met Jim in February and started playing shows in March 2019. So this is over 2 years ago. And, we're like a year into things as a band, starting to pick up steam and book some shows in San Francisco and looking at the Pacific Northwest and doing some more regional touring. And the pandemic hit and everything had to kind of get put on the back burner. So for us, it was it was a tough thing to get through as a band. I mean, obviously it's a hard time for everybody as people. A lot of businesses have been struggling. And for us, we felt that. I mean, this is a tough time to be a musician. It's always been tough to be a musician, but especially nowadays, the amount of money you're getting, especially from recorded music, is really down to next to nothing. So you're really relying on live shows and selling merch. For those of you out there who are music fans, I really, really can't encourage you enough to patronize bands that you love. Look them up on Bandcamp. That's usually the best route, or their website directly if they have a store. Or if you see them on tour and can pay them cash, that's the ideal. But that's really what keeps bands going. Passion takes you pretty far, but at a certain point you do have to pay the bills. And, So if there's any bands that you like that are current, after this video, think about going over to their Bandcamp and sending them $10 or something, or buying a T-shirt or a physical copy of their album if they have those. Because if you're like me, having a physical record is just pretty important as a fan. So I don't know what else to say exactly. I've been thinking more and more about wanting to do more kind of unscripted, off the cuff content like this. Usually the stuff that we put out, my instinct is to be very careful about how I edit it and, how we're releasing it and what our image is and all this type of stuff. And I'm starting to think maybe the opposite approach is better. I'm just like, hey, we're just people, we make music that, it's heavy and intense, but we as people are not really heavy or intense. We're kind of the opposite. We're actually a bunch of goofballs who, if it's funny sitting there working with Bob and, he's trying to get a straight answer out of us sometimes, and we're just riffing on these jokes. And he's just sitting there with a straight face, just waiting for us to stop. And we don't. So, that's an important side to things too. I grew up in the era where pre-social media, pre-Wikipedia and streaming services, if you heard of a band on the radio, the only thing you could really do was go down to the record store and try to buy a CD of theirs. And, you're looking through the liner notes and, smelling the paper and, listening to the music and seeing these weird pictures. And you're like, who are these people? There's all this mystery that comes out of it, which I think is really intoxicating. And it's really what drew me in as a fan. And I do want that to still be a part of what we are offering as a band. But it's far from the whole story, those people are, just normal people too on some level, for the most part. Anyways, you might hear some whimpering. My cat just gave birth to 2 little kittens just today, so the theme of rebirth and birth is pretty prevalent right now. It's a holiday weekend, so we're playing a show tomorrow in Marysville, kind of a do-it-yourself festival that some friends are putting on. And we're just excited to kind of start doing shows again. We've got another show on the 17th, and we're trying to kind of keep doing couple shows a month, from here on out, wherever we can do it, without losing sight of, new recordings, music videos. We have some other acoustic songs that we've been working on with our friend Lexi on cello, and I've been playing piano on them. And it's just like a really different side of the band, so I'm really excited about that material too. So that'll be coming too later this year. So we've got a lot going on. So I just wanted to kind of take a moment and acknowledge it all and document it a little bit. I'm sure there's nobody still watching by now. If you are, salute you. Salute. I'm gonna drink some of this. But yeah, my other thought was, if you are a fan of Follow Me Dark, what we're doing, we would love some support from you. This is a hard time. It's not just the financials, but it's also the cultural moment we live in. Everyone has a smart TV, smartphone. The amount of content that we're competing with is truly mind-boggling. So as hard as it was, 20 years ago to make inroads as a rock band, I think it's probably 100 times harder now because you're competing with all the music that's ever come out in history, which is accessible at everyone's fingertips. On top of that, you're competing with, streaming TV, all these endless TV shows and movies, all accessible all the time. Social media, TikToks, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all this stuff that's just this constant source of engagement for people. And with all that going on, it is hard to take time aside and really try to seek out, new underground musical artists or visual artists. It's writers, I think it's a tough time for creatives right now just to kind of cut through the clutter. So what I'm trying to do more and more with the bands that I support and with the artists that I support is be a little bit more vocal about it, buy their shirts, like them, subscribe them, get on the email list, buy some merchandise, take it to the next level because that stuff really does matter and it really does help. So I guess this is kind of a call to action on my part. If you're listening and you're a fan of the band, if you haven't heard our album, just listen to our album. That's my ask. I mean, just put aside some time and put some headphones on and listen to it, or put it on in the background while you're working and just see if you can groove on it a little bit, because there's a lot of love in that album. And if you like it, you like what you hear, subscribe, consider buying a CD from us, consider getting more involved with our social media, start engaging with us more. At least leave a like, leave a comment, let me know what you think. If you're out there and you hate the music, I'd love to hear that too, because we love honest feedback. So that's about all I got. So I'm not going to keep rambling for 20 minutes here, but if you're still watching, we salute you. On behalf of myself and Jim and Sean and Elliot, Follow Me Dark, thanks again for everything you've done for us so far. We've got a lot more to give as a band. We're very excited to show you what we've got in store for you. So stay tuned and talk to you soon. Happy 4th of July, everybody.